Look, we all learn the standard rules of the road. But what happens when you encounter a vehicle that just doesn't follow any of them? In this explainer, we're going to dive into the wild world of unusual vehicles, and, more importantly, how to stay safe when you come across the truly unexpected.
You know the feeling, right? You're just cruising along, and suddenly something rolls by that makes you do a complete double take. Could be a custom-built trike, a wild art car, maybe something you can't even put a name to. These things aren't just cool to look at. They represent a totally different set of rules you have to play by to stay safe out there.
So what's the real problem here? It's not just that these vehicles look strange. The absolute core of the issue is that they are, by their very nature, unpredictable. They completely challenge our built-in driving instincts and shatter every expectation we have about how traffic is supposed to work.
This gets into a really fascinating idea, the psychological contract of the road. See, when you're driving, your brain is basically on autopilot, relying on super-fast pattern recognition. You see a regular car, you instantly know how it's probably going to brake, accelerate, and turn. But when a low-to-the-ground, custom-built go-kart shows up, that pattern breaks. Your brain has no script for it, and that costs you critical seconds of reaction time.
So what are we really talking about here? Well, the term unusual vehicle covers a massive range, from DIY projects and ATVs that have somehow found their way onto the street, to heavily modified trikes and those little electric neighborhood cars. The key thing to remember is that their difference from the norm is what creates the risk.
And this slide really nails the core difference. A standard car, that's a known quantity. It's predictable, it's regulated, but an unusual vehicle, man, it's a total wild card. You have no clue about its braking power, how fast it can take off, or how it'll handle a sharp turn. That inconsistency, that's the danger you have to be ready for.
But you know, it's not the complete Wild West out there. There are rules, and it's really important for us to understand the line between something that's just a little odd versus something that is actively and illegally dangerous.
For the most part, a lot of this is just common sense. Anything unregistered or uninsured is a definite no-go. Same for vehicles with obviously broken stuff like bad brakes or no lights. And your typical ATVs, dirt bikes, or, bulldozers, they're almost always kept off public roads unless they have a special permit. Seeing one of these is a major red flag.
Okay, so what about the weird stuff that is legal? Well, even the most bizarre-looking machine has to clear a basic safety bar. We're talking working lights, brakes you can rely on, and a structure that isn't about to fall apart. They also need some basic protection for the driver, and, this is a big one, decent mirrors. This is especially true for custom builds, which can have huge, unconventional blind spots.
All right, so knowing a vehicle is technically legal, well, that only solves half the problem. The other half is on us, the drivers in the standard cars, to adapt our own driving. So let's build a simple, actionable playbook for how to handle these situations safely. The entire strategy, literally everything, boils down to these 3 words. If you can remember and really master awareness, space, and patience, you've got the tools you need to handle pretty much any situation with an unusual vehicle.
Let's break down that first one, awareness. This is way more than just paying attention. It means you have to actively retrain your eyes. We are all conditioned to look for other cars at a certain height. But for a super low-slung recumbent bike or a go-kart, you have to consciously scan lower, looking for movement right down near the asphalt, not just at your eye level.
Next up, space. And folks, this one is absolutely non-negotiable. You have no idea if that custom trike has high-performance brakes or practically none at all. So the rule is simple and it's specific. Add at least 2 extra seconds of following distance. That gives you a much bigger buffer to react to whatever it does.
Oh man, this is such a critical point, especially for huge vehicles like those big RVs or custom trucks. Their blind spots can be gigantic, sometimes hiding an entire car. Many of them rely on cameras that can lag or give you a distorted view. So here's the rule to live by. If you can't see their mirrors, you have to assume you are completely invisible to them, period.
And finally, patience. But this isn't just about passively waiting around. We're talking about being the predictable, calm anchor in the situation. It's what I call proactive patience. That means you signal your intentions way earlier than you normally would. You avoid aggressive stuff like honking or trying a risky pass, because that just ramps up the danger for everybody.
And don't forget, you're not in a bubble here. You're not the only one who sees this thing. It's a magnet for distracted drivers. So you need to be watching the cars around you, not just the odd vehicle itself. And be extra careful at intersections, because that's where its unpredictable acceleration and turning are really going to be put to the test.
Okay, so let's zoom out.
Beyond our own one-on-one encounters, how do these vehicles affect our roads and our infrastructure as a whole? Turns out, it's kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, these weird vehicles can actually drive innovation. Things like advanced driver assistance systems, or ADAS, are often tested on experimental vehicles long before they show up in our cars. Same goes for specialized safety features like the rollover protection systems on tractors. But on the flip side, the negatives are very real. Heavy or slow-moving vehicles cause traffic jams and put a ton of extra wear and tear on our roads.
And all of that leaves us with a really fascinating question for the future. Our current infrastructure is already struggling with the weight, size, and unpredictability of these vehicles. So as we keep seeing more and more micromobility, things like e-bikes and autocycles, the central question becomes, how are our cities going to adapt? What's the best way to balance the needs of these small, nimble vehicles with the huge, heavy transport our entire economy really depends on?
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.